on video?
Yeah.
Not the fly story, I hope.
What story?
When he imitated the fly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The four of us used to camp at Trout's camping, in a tent. And so we all brought a meal up too, It was a kind of a 4-day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do a whole week, but so we each brought a meal up, like we do now. And I made a meatloaf with corn and beef and stuff like that. It was pretty good, for me being a cook. And so one time I went to the outhouse there. You know what that outhouse is?
Was it at Dot's cottage or?
No, that was at Trout's.
Oh.
Trout's, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
And I went in the freezer first to get that meatloaf. That's a big bowl, I had to go to the bathroom real bad, so I went in the outhouse there. And Nick, I don't know, he was walking around and I come out of the outhouse with that bowl.
It must look weird, like he took a dump in the bowl.
Nick says, what are we having for supper? And Keith says, moose shit. And then the next year, and years after that, he said, did you bring your moose shit, Ron? But because I walked out of that outhouse.
Yeah, with that bowl
like a bowl.
Did you have like bowl of ground round meat or something in there? Or?
Yeah.
Or like pre-made?
Well, it's pre-baked, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
First thing I thought he would have said, I ain't eating that shit.
Exactly.
But a crap story too. I was at State Fair, and I had to go. I have a line of these. What do you call them? Porta potties.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And, so I went in one and I looked down in the hole, and honest to God, there was like 5 or 6 pounds of poop. And it was kind of coiled up like a python. Yeah. And it was green like guacamole.
Oh yeah, you told me this story. That's horrible, hey? What comes out of people's bodies, eh?
Green.
You think an alien went in there and took a dump before you went in
No,
there?
I went out of there and I was looking above the crowd for moose antlers,
Yeah,
I could have sworn that a moose did that.
an animal did it, hey?
Yeah.
Remember the Bullbirds? Nick and Darlene. Bo! Bo! It's like male and female. We called it the Bullbirds, but it was just Uncle Nick and Auntie Darlene calling for the dog, hey?
Yeah, and
the beagle.
Bo, that dog was something else. Don and I went up there. I think it was an early spring trip. There figured crappies and whatever bites, and so we went out between those, like No Fish Bay and East Bay.
Oh yeah.
We're sitting in the middle there, and just like today, a thunderstorm came, just like that, boom,
Mm-hmm.
So we just made it to the pier, and we looked out over the rain. It was pouring, and a bolt of lightning hit right where you were, right on the water. So we looked at each other and thought, oh my God, we could have been out there, But anyway, Bo, speaking of Bo, that same weekend, he found a dead deer that drowned or something, and it was just right after ice out, so the deer kind of washed ashore. And he was chewing on it, and that rotten corpse,
Oh God.
he dug it and he grabbed the gizzard,
Mm.
and it looked like like an organ,
Yeah.
and he brought it in the house. We were in the house and we called Bo, we didn't know that he was down there doing that, He comes in the house and he barfs it up on the carpet.
That dog was sick.
Oh, God. Anyhow, Don and I were sick for about 2 hours.
After seeing that. Oh my God, that dog was trouble.
So then the next day, kind of kept an eye on Bo,
Yeah.
And the next day he was down there again.
Oh, so God. You didn't know where. Probably didn't know where you did. You probably didn't know where that deer was, hey?
Yeah. We saw it, and we thought, well, we're going to take it away and drag it to the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
So it was falling apart. We tied his two legs together, and we slowly, with the boat, towed him over to the other side.
Oh
of the
my
lake.
God, that's disgusting.
But that was really gross.
Yeah. Remember there was a dead deer in Scheinberg like this?
Oh yeah, interesting.
Remember how we always see that in the bones and stuff?
But always would shine their flashlights on it just to see it.
But Bo, I think he gave the dog Bo to somebody away on not Thiesville, but further than Cedarburg.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of days later, the dog walked all the way from Cedarburg to 40th and Howard.
By Nick's house? It found its way back?
Yeah.
Or did the guy get fed up with the dog and drop it off?
No, just wanted to go home, I guess.
How did it know where to go?
I know.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm surprised he didn't get run over.
I didn't know Beagle was like a bloodhound.
That was quite a dog.
Yeah.
Beagle,
What about you, Dan?
They're
What's
nuts.
your favorite story that Dad tells? Or if you have one, it's kind of hard to think. But
Yeah.
love the one where Keith is breaking all those rods too.
Oh yeah.
Thinking of rain, Ron.
He had a little Mercury motor that didn't have a hood on it. It had a flywheel in the open. So he's cast in the back of the boat, and then the line gets caught in that pulley. Snap.
How many times did that happen?
Did that twice. So he came to Nick's house, and he wanted to drop the rods off because we were going fishing the next day or something. He wanted to put the rods by Nick's house. He's got 2 rods, and he opens the door, and he's walking in the door, and he busts the tip off the 3rd rod.
Is he just
in the door,
What a day that would have been.
Oh my God! And we used to tease him about that, and cut that out.
Did he break the last one?
No, I don't think.
I thought he
did.
slammed the trunk on one.
Oh, you're right. Slammed it in the trunk. 4 rods in one day.
Is that when you guys camped on out by Trouts?
No, this was just a fishing trip at I think Tishigan. We went to Tishigan.
Oh, Tishigan?
Yeah.
Tishigan Lake?
Mm-hmm. That's south of.
I know where that is. Yeah.
Just south of us. Yeah.
Pretty close to me. It's sort of, there's muskie on that lake, from what I understand.
Yeah. It's a murky lake.
Yeah.
But there's just about everything in there.
Yeah. It's not that big, is it?
And it's kind of a lot of fingers.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think muskies come in there from. I don't know if it's the Fox River.
Oh yeah, Fox River's over.
Yeah.
It goes right into that. I forgot. Yeah.
I think that story about it was Don with Keith, and then when you saw it, and then you came back, you went in and you came back and you saw just Keith or whatever. Did that story? Remember that one? Where did Keith go? And climbs out of the boat. I'm still here or whatever.
Oh, you mean Dave Zorb?
Dave Zorb.
Yeah. Don would keep you out there forever, And Dave Zorber, Nick and I went to the, that Peases Bay to fish.
Mm-hmm.
And so we fished pretty much all night. And dawn was coming up. But Don and Dave were in that neck between Charles Bay and the main lake in 14 feet of water. And they were catching crappies, It was about midnight or so, and they were having a ball catching these nice crappies on minnows. So we went, Nick and I went into Peases Bay fishing for muskies and trolling and catching walleyes and stuff. And here it's 6 a.m, and they were out there 7 o'clock at night. It's 6 a.m, and we come trolling past them. And it's just, hey, you still out here, Don? Because I didn't see Dave, you know.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, we catching crappies and stuff. And we had a pretty good night. And then Dave's face came up on the edge of the boat.
Oh
you
my
know.
God, yeah.
Is that you, Ron?
Why would he keep people out there forever, hey?
He kept Darlene out there all night.
What did she do? That was his wife.
She was going crazy.
Mm.
Because he's one of them guys that just loves to fish and stay out there. One time he took his shirt off, and it was a real bright sunny day, and he looked like a lobster when he came in. And he really suffered that night.
Oh, I bet.
But he didn't have any sense that way, you know.
Yeah.
And you don't feel it until you come in the
bed.
house.
The next day, yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel warm. That's a
So,
horrible feeling.
You couldn't even sleep.
Oh, you try to go to bed, yeah. No,
The heat. Feel that heat.
Put the fan on high and blow it on you just so you can get to sleep.
God.
He had pneumonia, and we had our trip planned, you know, for the Memorial weekend.
Yeah.
He had pneumonia. And he was in the hospital for a day. And the doctor released him, gave him medication. So here he is. It's 40 degrees out. He's sitting there fishing in the rain with pneumonia.
Oh my God, what a nutbag.
That's how crazy he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. At Keith, you know, when the locators were first invented, the green box they called it.
Oh, the flasher?
The eagle
The
flasher?
flasher, yeah.
The flasher.
Yeah, and it's cold and windy, and Keith is watching that locator, and tears are coming down. He wouldn't even blink. Tears are coming down, you know.
Those flashes are
staring at that green box.
Because when it flashed,
Yeah.
you know, we're cold, thin and wide, right? With
Yeah,
weeds or something.
It looks kind of weird when you blink, you know. Kind of like a fluorescent
Then it
light or
upgraded.
neon light or something.
Then it upgraded it to, you know, like the fish ones, hey?
Oh, that,
Yeah.
Where Uncle Nick thought one fish ate another fish and actually got bigger. Daniel says, yeah, I probably, you know,
Oh yeah.
see two fish mate. And
All
like
three
a
guys are looking at the
little dog with
locator.
the baby hairs and
They're
eggs.
seeing these fish shapes, you know.
Fish going like this on the locator, and a female one go, and a little baby fish comes out.
It looked like one ate another one, and it got bigger instantly.
Didn't even make a bed, you know.
And all three of them believed that. You know.
Literally, Uncle Nick believed that.
He also thought that you know, these fishing shows, that these guys would go to somebody that's catching fish and say, hey, can we borrow your fish for our film? He actually believed that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised because he and I caught a lot of fish in 1 hour, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's so impossible about that, you know? That's something that would be a stretch. How would that would get around, you know?
Yeah, but you said you caught a lot of walleyes in Smith Lake in that hole. Like 15 walleye, right? Or
17 walleyes.
God.
The very first trip that we took with Darlene and Nick.
They probably weren't those fish probably weren't used to your style of fishing. They
Yeah,
probably just
and it was
killed them.
that was when fishing was invented.
Yeah, Jesus was
Yeah.
flaying it on the sidelines.
It was such an ideal morning because it was foggy and misting, and I was curious about the little lake, you know. So I thought, I'll try it, you know. And we had played a game until 2 in the morning. Risk, I think it was. And so we all went to bed, and I says, Nick, I'd like to go out in the morning. You want to go? He says, yeah, wake me up. So 4:30, I'm up, you know, and I'm looking out the window. It's foggy, and I thought it'd be perfect to get in there, you know. And says, hey, Nick, it's time, you know, it's 4:30. How about going out there? He said, nah, I'm going to sleep in. Darlene raised her head, you know. But anyway, I went out there with that little one lunger that Keith called my 3-horse motor the one lunger. You know.
Because why? Because they only had one valve work, or what was it again?
No, one cylinder was working.
Yeah.
Boy, was that a slow motor! My God, it would take half an hour to get to Smith.
Oh my God! What do you ever get stuck
But
in the
it
rain?
was so reliable. I had it fixed, so 2 of them would fire, and then it was much better, you know. But I mean, it's it trolls so nice.
Yeah.
You know.
That was your
But
favorite.
there's a lot of miles on that little motor.
Yeah, you gave it to us to use when we were
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
But that was hell to get across the lake in a rainstorm. You were
Yeah.
drenched.
Here it's lightning right above us, you know, and
Oh.
I got that little 3-horse on there.
Tell the story about, kind of more of a recent one where I was like 15 and you and Paul Coiler were worried about me and the wind was blowing. And
Oh, yeah,
kinda,
yeah.
kind of pulled a Roger.
Yeah, Paul,
I was 15.
my brother-in-law and Paul and me, we fished all night, and we came in around 6, and it was calm, and we went to bed, and at about 11 o'clock, we heard this wind, and we kind of woke up, and I didn't see you.
Trees
you know.
were knocking, hey?
Yeah, well, yeah, the wind was howling. And these whitecaps, maybe 4 feet. I thought, oh my God, Mike is out there. So we went downwind. You know, it was easy to go downwind
Yeah.
because it was a northeast wind. So we went around that corner there, and we saw you just, relaxing, cooling it on a pit. I think, were you in the
It was
boat
in, because
or on a pier?
we stayed at Pease's, but
Yeah.
I was in Trout's Bay. Wasn't catching any fish, and I was sunbathing.
Yeah.
Fell asleep. It was real calm, and all of a sudden, as the wind picked up, I tried to put my shirt on,
Yeah.
and it almost blew out of my hands
Yeah.
because of the wind, and then I could not get on the white tops. Boat was going like this, and I probably was like 90 pounds back then. I was a skinny blink. So I just went to the island and just kind of sat there and waited it out.
Yeah.
Some guy came out of his cottage, saw me there drinking a soda can, He's like,
Oh, yeah.
people, what are you doing here? And I'm like, the lake is pretty rough, and my boat's not handling it very well. I got a slow motor, but you and Paul came out, and you guys
Yeah.
saw me there, and I was surprising.
Yeah, we turned a corner there,
Yeah.
and we towed you back, hey?
Yeah, that was like wet and wild.
Yeah.
Buckets of water in your face.
Yeah.
Paul got in the other boat, hey, and then you and me.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy that you even wanted to go out there and save me, That was bad.
Yeah.
What about
The wind can blow up just like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and then another story with Dan. I know you told Richard already, but I always like to hear that story about you and Dan when the 9-inch walleye and the 9
Oh,
pound
yeah,
walleye.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
maybe Dan can kind of leave a take. It's kind of add to the story.
Yeah.
What happened? Just
We were trolling by 3-Point Island,
Yeah.
back there by Shirley's Point. And we're coming on the northwest corner of it. And I had a blue Rapala on. And it felt like rubble. I said, oh, Dan, we're in shallow water. And he said, oh, my God, 4 feet, And
You had 2 rods because that was one of the early times you let me troll.
yeah.
And then
Oh, yeah,
had
you were
2 rods.
trolling, yeah.
You had 2 rods out, 2 different.
Yeah.
Because
That I forgot. But anyway, we had a camera along.
yeah,
Was it the VH?
VHS one, yeah.
Yeah. And anyhow, I said, oh, Dan, I got a snag. It felt like a log, or a branch or something. And so we thought we'll go on the other side. We motored up. Was it me motoring or you?
Mm.
Yeah.
You would let me motor.
So we could get the lure out of the log going the other way, Sometimes you get your lure back that way.
was it dark out? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was around
You-
midnight.
And you gave me the snagged one. So
Yeah.
hold this and then so you could reel the other one in.
Yeah.
So you reel the other rod in.
Yeah.
And that's when I was how you can pull the boat closer, you can
Yeah.
go like this and it helps the boat come closer. And all of a sudden I was pulling and then it started fighting back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, oh Dad, there's a fish on here. And I gave it back to Dad.
And I thought, it's probably a tree branch,
Mhm.
when you pull it, it goes back.
Daniel felt life on it.
Yeah.
And
And Daniel gave me the rod, and he says, oh, this is going to be a long battle, because he thought it was a fish. And so he's reaching for the camera, and the walleye came right up to the boat. And it looked to me like 11, 12 pounder.
God.
Honest to God, like 32 inches.
Ooh.
About that big around. And it saw the boat and it started sounding into that drop off, with the headlamp. I could see that white dot on the tail going down,
Disappear.
down, down.
That's cool.
Oh, God, oh, he's really pulling, And all of a sudden, oh God, I lost him, you know. So I'm bringing it in, the lure in, and here's a 9-inch walleye on it. It's like a kind of a nightmare.
That would be.
You know how you dream something like
Yeah.
that? You know,
That's not all what it's cracked up.
I remember feeding a baby bird with worms, you know, and it turned into a human baby, and I'm stuffing worms in its mouth.
It's like, you sure you weren't on acid?
Dude, I mean that's how that fishing thing was. you
Yeah.
know?
And as soon as I grabbed, I said, oh, this is gonna be cool to film. So I grabbed the camera and I had a net. And as soon as I turned to start filming with the net, and then I seen this 9-inch walleye swinging in front of me.
Oh my God, it's weird. I got
With
grandfather
the
clock
blue
pigeon.
Impala hanging out of his mouth.
Remember
So he
that?
must have chomped on it.
So yeah, you caught the baby walleye,
Yeah.
and then it was probably I was in 4 feet of water, so the baby walleye is probably bouncing on the rocks and going
Yeah.
like this.
Oh wow, yeah.
And that big walleye probably just like, ooh.
That's what that.
Attracted
I
to
thought
it.
it was rubble, but it was that baby walleye. You know.
Wow,
So
I remember that.
it's an interesting story.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
some lunkers in that lake.
I remember that's when I first saw it, before I went to grab the camera and net. I remember it was out in the lake, and I saw
Yeah.
a tail come out like that, kind of like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I look like a monster.
And you know, it probably didn't even feel the hook, but it just wouldn't let go of that fish.
Yeah. You just probably there were some teeth marks in the middle of the small walleye. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, even if you would have known, like Northern, they'll take it out and they'll switch it around for the bait. They can swallow it when they run off on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you would have dealt the walleye, let it go, would it have done that?
They probably engulfed it at one point.
And then you would have maybe had it, but you
Yeah.
don't know that when you're fishing.
You don't.
On Spider Lake chain, there were a lot of 29 1/4 inch muskies.
Yeah, they're nice.
And the limit, it seemed like they purposely stayed under 30 inches.
It's like evolution.
Most of them
eh?
were 29 1/4 inches.
I remember that.
And you were catching them on that walleye Rebel.
Yeah, I remember that.
And well, I was crappie fishing, and crappie about this big, you know. I was pulling it in, and it was flashing real nice in the sun. And this muskie come up and grabbed it viciously. Grabbed that sucker and spit it out, and the scales are going like that.
Oh
You know.
wow.
And he bit it again, you know. It's like a cat would with a bird, you
Yeah,
know.
a toy or something.
I've never seen anything like that, you know.
You saw like a bass jump on, slither on land and go after.
Oh,
him.
on Eagle Spring Lake.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you see
About
that?
a 5-pound bass, and it was foggy, and the grass was wet
On Eagle Spring?
on Eagle Spring. Yeah, grass was wet, and there was like long grass right on the bank, and here's the water, and then this grass bank, and it was all from dew, all wet, you know. And I saw this commotion, and this frog about this big jumped up on that grass, and right after it is a 5-pound bass.
Actually went on land.
Man.
Wild. Starts growing legs.
Instantly.
Wow, that's crazy to see, but they
That's
do
interesting
that.
to see that.
Don't they jump out after Red Wings when the Red Wings walk on the lily?
Yeah, and there was a red wing walking on the top of the lily pads,
Poking around.
eating bugs or something, and all of a sudden,
Yep.
that's a bass about 5
Wow.
pounds.
Jeez.
But
Yeah, I
the
saw that in
blackbird.
Eagle Spring
Did
too.
you?
With the duckling, yeah.
Oh wow.
Right over the lily pad. All of a sudden, whack, whack, whack. Now there's only 3 ducks, there were 4.
Like a duckling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing when a largemouth, when he's hungry. I think you showed me a photograph where he opened his mouth and that rubber frog is just sucked right down in his
yeah.
throat.
It's like a vacuum that sucks it right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's goofy.
Just imagine that funny, like remember your boat cushions? They would have rips in them, and they're like down filled, like
Oh yeah.
like feathers would be coming out of them. They're like that, but he kept them because there was a requirement. Probably would never save anybody's life. When Mike and I would be fishing with them, and like a hammer handle northern, flopping around, and he comes off the hook and it's flopping around, and you can't wait for it to land it on that cushion. And then it's like it's all filled with those feathers on its body.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, oh my god, it's already acclimating to its new environment. It's just grows feathers and flies. Flies away.
Like an eagle. Starts dive bombing for fish to eat.
Right away.
Yeah, some funny stuff.
What about the story with Richard to get him in this with your muskie that you lost out here?
Oh.
How did that pan out? How did you guys?
We were by 3 Point Island.
Yeah.
And we had good luck there. You know, he lost about three northerns, couple northerns, and
And a walleye, that smaller
a
walleye.
walleye, and maybe a bass. I caught a huge crappie
Oh yeah.
on a big
monster.
lure.
Yeah.
14.5 inches it was.
Yeah, on a 17 Rapala.
Yeah, that was
Imagine
the same day Dan called me leader boy because I didn't use a leader. at
Oh,
the
that's
time.
right. We was talking about that. We were talking about that. Leader boy. Gotta get you a shirt.
So we thought, let's troll all the way to the boat landing, the old boat landing. You know where that's
Is that by
kind of a
Birch?
musky spot. You know.
Yeah. Is that by Birch opening?
Birch Lake.
Birch
No.
Lake? Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
By Birch Lake, and so there's a nice bar there. It's like the end of Horseshoe Bar. We're coming around there and staying in 14 feet of water.
Yeah, we went through maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and Richard was making a nice big circle, you know, real slow, about maybe 3 or 4 times, and it was by that lighted staircase.
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah.
I saw that the other night with the kids.
Man, that was a nice fish. You
So
know,
what
it
happened?
Just bit real light. I
Yeah,
think.
real light and it's like a log on there and then
Yeah.
not fighting back and all of a sudden you feel a little tug. Okay, I got something on
They
there.
shut the motor off. Then.
So, oh no, we kept it trolling. Oh.
Yeah.
And then when it got closer, like then it fought a little more. It just don't feel like a musk. I feel like a walleye kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got it close to the boat.
Yeah. It's a flared his gills. You
Flared
know.
his gills.
Big.
Looked like a gator. You know.
Oh really? How big was it? Like 30?
I'm thinking 40, at least 45 inches.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Half of it only fit in the net when he tried to net it.
Yeah.
The problem we did is I was sitting in the driver's side and he tried to net over me
Oh.
instead of me pulling the muskie on the other side where he could get at it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you had to throw it over your body, hey?
And I
Damn.
should've- I always tell him that I should have.
Did like Dan does and
Yeah, you get the muskie to the boat, and then you pet it, and then he darts out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you got your drag set, and then you get him to the boat again. He's kind of tired, and then you pet him, and they sort of get used to that. A couple times.
he
Rubbing its nose on the side of the boat. Like this.
Yeah.
Rub.
a loving rub.
So, but
you didn't
I
do
should have
that?
had the presence of mind. We're both excited, you know.
Oh God, yeah.
And you know, you can actually put these 2 fingers under the handle there, you know.
Yeah, I still nervous doing that. I should
Yeah.
practice on those.
Well, they got the fangs, you know. You
When
gotta
they're in the
watch out
sink
for fangs.
and they're
Yeah.
when they're in the sink and they're not green.
Yeah.
I try to practice where that handle is, and it is like a real handle.
The bigger the muskie, the bigger that space is. So
Is
it's
it?
more actually more. It's harder to do it on like a 20-inch muskie because it's
Yeah.
so close
Yeah.
to the teeth.
Oh.
Your knuckles touch the teeth.
Oh,
at the
yeah.
top of the mouth. But if it's a huge fish, it's like a nice suitcase handle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, something you would have a little experience on before you try it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when stuff like that happened.
But I could have done that, you know, just had the presence of mind to
I would
do
do
that.
the
you
same
know.
thing as the muskie coming to the side of the boat, and I would net it, and then from its tail, and I'd bump the tail, so if he would dart out again,
Yeah.
and then come back and get him from the
That's
tail,
another good way.
and then scoop him up. So
Yeah.
if he would jump out, at least the lure would stay in his mouth. You
Yeah.
know?
You did that with moms. Eh?
Yeah, with mom's it's like okay, because it's so big, if you go by its head and it falls out, the lure gets caught in the net, and then the muskie goes like that, and he's off. You're like, ooh.
And you get more wired because the muskie is violent,
Yeah.
you know, right by the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Flaring his gills and stuff, he's pissed, you know.
Yeah, and it, like even this fishing trip is like the lures just jump out of the mouth once they get in
Your
the net.
dad felt so bad when I lost that muskie, and I said, "Well, it's not your fault. I only had a Frable net. I can't help it. The fish was twice as big as the opening of the Frable net.
You got a bigger net this year, don't you?
With the next year, I bought the bigger
You
net.
got a bigger boat. We need a bigger boat.
Darn right, I did.
So-
yeah, that
so-
was a nice experience because I'll never forget it, you know.
Yeah, even though you don't catch it, just like the
Yeah, you see
9-inch
it.
walleye.
Yeah,
But we have a witness.
yeah,
It's
Right,
one of those
thank
things. I'm
God.
glad you had somebody else there to witness it for you.
yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, it sounds like a fish story to everybody, you know. And then,
And then you know when I told a guy at work about that big walleye with the 9-inch walleye, and I said, yeah, it was about 32 inches long and maybe 11, 12 pounds. And he says, "How the hell can you tell that when you don't land the fish?" You know.
Yeah. You're good. You're a
But,
good
you know,
estimator.
After a while, you catch a lot of fish.
When
you
you
can
fish a lot,
estimate.
you get an idea
Yeah.
of how big they
Yeah.
are by looking. Yeah.
Mhm.
Kyle caught that 31-inch northern last night, and I go, "Oh, another 29." I looked to me like another 29. Obviously, it's close, but
Yeah.
Kyle goes, "No, I think it's longer, Dad. It's got to be 31 inches, 30 to 31," and it was 31. You know?
Yeah.
People just have that. Like you say, if you're fishing a lot,
Mhm.
you know, and everything kind of looks magnified in the water, so
Yeah.
you don't know, or
Yeah.
it looks smaller in the water. But
Yeah,
Right.
it looks small. Yeah, all of a sudden small. You think it's a muskie, like a small muskie, and holy
you
crap!
see the side of it, yeah.
Catch a 2.5 pound bass and it feels like 5 pounds.
The way they fight, especially if it's
Yeah.
a small one.
But
Like,
you notice a fight on a large amount is short, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and you got them in.
Mm-hmm.
But a smallie, oh my God,
Yeah.
Your arms are tired.
yeah, they got punch.
Tell that story about the dead body you guys saw on Big Cedar
Oh,
Lake
yeah.
with his dad.
Yeah,
And then tell a story about how you guys
Yeah, I
tried
was
to
out there
spook
with
each other out.
We got out there around 8 o'clock. It was still nice and light, summer, you know. Lake was calm, and there was a party going on at Gone Rings,
Mm-hmm.
and music and everything. So Bob and I went into the North Bay, and we always liked the North Bay for bass and stuff. And Bob Kaler and your
My
dad.
dad, yeah.
Um,
I'm surprised it would be them two.
yeah, that was unusual.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Bob Kaler was a big BSer.
Yeah.
yeah.
But now, who was he? He didn't stand up at your wedding, did that was the different. Who was your best man at your wedding?
My mom's
Oh.
sister's husband.
Oh, was he your best man? No, that wasn't the guy that was your best man, was he?
No.
Bob
Yeah, he
Kaler?
was Bob Thompson.
Oh,
And
okay.
then Bob Rand was second.
Okay,
what do you
gotcha.
call him. But Bob Thompson and I fished a lot too.
Yeah.
He was a cool dude. We worked at the Pig and Whistle, and the black guy came in. He said, "Give me cream of cold."
And that how you and
And
Big Cedar.
some of the funny things that we used to make custard at Castle Dairy Farms. It was 8 p.m. Yeah, and it got completely dark around maybe 10:30. We're still down in the bay, and we heard all this commotion by the big island. And
Weren't you guys just talking about the creature of the Black
oh
Lagoon?
yeah,
Spooking
we
each other
were,
out and
yeah.
stuff. That movie was
Spooky
out.
Stuff, yeah,
Is that movie out, The Creature from the Black Lagoon? 3D? Or
yeah.
something? You guys talking about
I
that?
think it was 3 years, maybe 4 years old already, but
Mhm.
they always showed it in these theaters,
Yeah.
or drive-ins.
Mhm.
But anyhow, we heard all this commotion, and the Coast Guard was racing out to the island and stuff. Bob and I looked at each other, maybe we better check that out. I've never seen anything like that. A lot of noise, people coming and walking